Well, happy Saturday, you handsome lot. As you can see behind me, we've got a little Fiat Doblo van. Now, if you've looked over my stories over the last sort of few months, I've been rebuilding an engine. Well, this is a vehicle that engine is going in. Now, it has been off the road for about 2 years, and today's challenge is going to be, can we get this engine in and running by the time I go home at some point this afternoon? I don't know what time I'll be going home, but I would like to get this van up and running. Now, let me give you a little bit of a recap what happened to this engine originally to start with. The water pump failed on it, and the customer drove it until it heat seized, and then I went to recover it in, and from there on we've had the crank out, reground, new shells, 4 new pistons, full head set, head gasket, stretch bolts, new timing chain. It's had everything thrown at it. Because I pulled that engine out 2 years ago, I left the gearbox in the chassis, and as you can see, I put loads of cable ties on it to hold the gearbox up as I wheeled it up the yard. But I have got underneath there now a little jack to support it, so we're going to get all these cable ties off and get this engine lowered into the chassis. Now, luckily for me, over the years I have a little tip that I've done is put everything in boxes, and also little food bags, and write on them what they're for. Now, these are the bellows and bolts, so we need to get them ready. I have used, rather than put a new clutch in it, there was nothing wrong with that clutch, so we're sticking with the original clutch on it. I'm more than happy now that everything can be put in. We're going to do a little bit of prep work before we put it in. You know the push fits for the heater core? We put a little bit of Launch Power Loop Plus and the splines on the gearbox, so it should just slide in, and of course on the pipes as well. We want everything to just slide in nicely, and we don't want to be struggling with anything at all. Right, now with that engine somewhere near in the chassis, we now have to get it all lined up with the gearbox. It is a little bit of a pain, but we're going to plod on. We're going to plod on. Let's get it in. Well, with a little bit of magic, look at this. I've actually taken my gloves off. I've got my hands dirty for once. And now we're looking for time. We're now at 10 to 1, and the engine is back in the chassis. It was a little bit of a fiddle when the gearbox is still in. You've got to get underneath it, and I'm covered in crap and stuff. But anyway, not to worry. I've got quite a few little bits and bobs to do. I've got the ECU to go on, fuel lines, various plugs, intercooler pipes, intake pipes, and one thing or another. So I'm going to be plodding on. Right, well, if you know by now, and you've followed me long enough, if the glass is on top of the head, we mean business. Now, put the battery on, got some fresh coolant in it. I've topped the power steering fluid up. I've wanged it over for about 3 or 4 minutes, let that oil pressure build up and the fuel pressure. Obviously there's got a low pressure fuel pump in the tank, so keep the ignition turning it for a few minutes, and that will prime the fuel system. Now hopefully, with a little bit of luck, if I have done everything right, this should start. Now, as you can see, I'm in the vehicle, and the battery has only been connected 4 minutes because it starts off at 12 o'clock. Now remember, I have already wanged this over plenty of times. So let's get on the key and give it a start. Put the lights on. It's ticking over. And we've got no warning lights apart from that seatbelt light. Not worried about that. Hey, it's alive! It's alive! Well, now we've got the van running, there was something that I needed to address. Is, oh, I don't know if that's a little bit of an oil leak. Is this little purge valve, vacuum canister, which goes at the back of the engine. Now, when it was removed 2.5 years ago, I think it got damaged. So what I've had to do is drill it, put a little bit of brake pipe in it, and then also put a little bit of Cubond powder in there, and that is going to hold it beautifully. Well, with that vacuum canister around the back there, back on, and it is perfect, holding the vacuum perfectly. Now, when I was underneath, I did notice a little bit of an oil pool, and it's coming from this vacuum pump here. So we're just going to pull this vacuum pump off quickly and see what is going on. Well, I have found the culprit, and it is the bottom bolt on this vacuum pump. It is leaking oil. Now, the reason for it, because the bolts aren't that long, what it's done, as I've tightened up, like, remember please, I've been doing this engine over the last God knows how many months. It must have just pulled the threads and it wasn't tightening up properly. So what I'm going to have to do is get a little bit of threaded bar, screw that into the head, and then it'll tighten up. Fingers crossed. And there we have it. After 2 years, that van now is back up and running, out the workshop with an engine in it, and I have given it a little bit of a cleaner rooting. As you can see, it doesn't look half bad, to be honest with you. We've got no fault codes. My scanner screen's gone off now. It's done 125,000 miles. It needs a little bit of a clean, but we can sort this. It's just a little bit of cleaning. That's been ticking over now for about an hour and a half or so. Listen to it, like a little Singer sewing machine. Well, seeing that I left my camera in the workshop yesterday, I've come back to it today to pick it up, just so I can get it and make a little bit of edit and hopefully drop it tonight. But yeah, look at this now. I've took it home, we'll give it a good cleaner rooting, and it is like brand new. Look at it. You wouldn't think that this van had been standing for as long as it has been. I've cleaned it all inside. I've been doing some on my way to and from home. I've been looking at temperatures, making sure the fan's coming on and everything is beautiful. And I also have had this for a little while, which was given me by CarPru to do a little bit of a CarPru, whatever you want to call it, for a little bit of a review. And to be honest with you, I fit it in there and it doesn't look out of place, and it's modernised the van a little bit. Auto Android, there's loads of stuff. Let it just load up a second. Are we loading? Yeah, there we go. We're now loaded up. Turn the music down because we don't want copyright. It's got your sat nav, it's got 4K camera, which is absolutely mint, which is recording all the time when you're driving. But yeah, I think that's a little brilliant kit. I've had it weeks. Well, what I say weeks, I say months. But it is now in, and it is now working functionally. Honestly, it drives like $1 million. Got all the little fancy mod cons in it now. Radio works, power windows. We've got no rusty wings like my old bloody rally van. Yeah, see how this one lasts. So yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Well, very rare that I upload on a Sunday, but this one's coming out tonight. So anyway, hope you've all had a mint weekend, and we will see you back in the workshop tomorrow. I don't know what I've got on. I know I've got to tidy up because I've left the workshop like a bit of a mess. Obviously it was late when I was going home yesterday. But yeah, no doubt you will see tomorrow night what I've been up to. Look at a beautiful Sunday. So anyway, let's get it sent.